Hiya, I'm Pimmie, and today I'm going to complain about the nice weather because I have been carding for the big spinning project that I'm working on, and it's such beautiful weather here, and the air is extremely dry, very low humidity, and my carding I'm running into problems with my carding because of that. And the carding itself isn't a problem, but because everything is so dry, my wool becomes extremely static. And the carded row legs, if I finish them and I take them off my cards and I put them in the basket, they just fly out of the basket again. The first layer will stick to the sides of the basket or whatever container I'm using, and after I've filled all the sides and the bottom, they won't stick to each other, and they won't lie down, and gravity isn't working anymore, and they just fly out of the container, ending up on the ground and picking up sand and dirt because I'm carding outside because it's such nice weather. And today I got clever and remembered that I have a spray bottle that does really fine mist of droplets, and I can use that. So I filled it with a bit of water, just plain water, because it's only the humidity that I'm after, and every other Rolex that I card, I put the wool on the card, and I just mist it, one or maybe half a spray of water on top of the wool, and then I card it, and there's no problem. And the other one I do without water, so that my cards don't get very wet. And I can see that the next one, the one that I don't wet, is already a lot more static than and trying to fly away, stick to the walls of the container again. But that really helps in the carding and making things easier. And I know that this is also done in combing. If you comb your wool with if it's hand combs or the big scary blocks of tines from English combs, that you put some moisture on it, on the wool, to make sure it doesn't puff up into a cloud that you can't comb anymore. And you can also, you can buy expensive wool conditioner for this purpose, but you can also put just plain water in a bottle, but you could also put a bit of just hair conditioner, a couple of drops in with mix it in with the water in your bottle, or the stuff that you use on fabric. If you do a load of laundry, not the washing powder, but the stuff that you pour in afterward, after the washing, to put the scent on it and to make it less hard, to soften the stuff. Don't know the word because I don't use this product. If I want towels or something to not be as hard, then I put a bit of cleaning vinegar, the really concentrated cleaning vinegar in the last rinse, just like I do for fleece that I wash. And oh yeah, on spinning wet wool, I don't think that the Rolex that I'm carding now with the misting of water will become too wet, because there's hardly any water that goes on there, just enough to make it the fibers stop from flying away. But because the air is so dry, it'll just dry before I start spinning. But spinning wet wool isn't necessarily a problem. I have spun wet wool on purpose. When I was spinning as a production spinner for the shepherds of Ballo, then I would spin the fleece dirty, because I was getting paid by amount and not by time that it took me, and I didn't want to put too much time in preparing the wool. And also the yarns I wanted to spin, I could best spin straight from the fleece without carding and also without washing. But this worked very well just the first half year after shearing. But after that, the lanolin and also the dirt in the fleece would stiffen up, and it become very dry and difficult to work with. And then I would spray the wool with a mixture of water and a bit of shampoo. It's not a conditioner, but a couple of drops of shampoo in the water, and let it spray the wool in, and then let it sit for a night, and then I'd spin it, and the dirt would soften up, and the fibers would soften up a bit, and it was very dirty work, and my hands would be here where you have the yarn running over your fingers. So I'd have the black rows of stripes of black dirt on my fingers, but it would spin really nicely, and as if it was a fresh fleece again. And it isn't really a problem to spin wet. The only thing is you can't keep it on the bobbin. You can't keep it stored on the bobbin, because if you have a wooden bobbin, the wood will warp, because it'll get saturated by the wetness in the fleece. And if you'd have a plastic bobbin, then I still wouldn't recommend it, because the dirty wet wool, and even if it isn't dirty, if it's washed wool that you spin wet for humidity reasons or whatever, then it's still going to mold and fester and start smelling bad, and you get the mold in, and that will also weaken the wool fibers, so it's really not a good idea. So if you spin wet, don't let the spun yarn sit on your bobbin for more than a day. I'd probably take it off the same day, but yeah, it works up and makes the works well and makes the drafting a lot easier. So that's my helpful tricks for dealing with too nice weather. But yeah, it's just that I'm working on a big spinning project, and I have to keep on working on it, because otherwise I'd be doing other things like washing wool and letting it dry. Because that's perfect with this weather, it dries in no time. But I'll do another video about some tricks I have for drying large amounts of washed fleece. But that's for another time. I hope to see you then. Bye.